Are you ready to be governed by an algorithm or maybe a CEO monarch? A new class of tech billionaires hopes that cryptocurrency will upend the global financial system, replace democracy, and even reshape nation states. Are we entering the era of the crypto billionaire takeover? And what could that mean for the rest of us? From the BBC, I'm Tristan Redmond in London, and welcome to the Global Story on YouTube. You've been doing some reporting on billionaires who are amassing enormous amounts of power and money via cryptocurrency. You've made a documentary for the BBC called Tech Billionaire Takeover. And in the film, you spent quite a bit of time with this individual, Justin Sun. Who is he?
So Justin Sun is a Chinese crypto billionaire. He is worth $8.5 billion. He's perhaps most known for eating that $6.5 million banana. But really, the way he's made his wealth is through the crypto platform Tron, which is one of the biggest crypto platforms in the world. Tron is what is known as a blockchain, which is a very complicated and kind of mysterious bit of technology, but it is essentially a decentralized, encrypted software network that is not ruled over by one bank, one authority, one person, but rather exists on many computers all across the world. And it's where you can buy and sell crypto.
Okay, so roughly speaking, cryptocurrency, if cryptocurrency is cash, blockchain is where you keep the cash, roughly speaking, a bank, is that right?
Sort of. It's so difficult to explain the blockchain. It's sort of like it's a digital ledger that contains data, and that data is essentially transactions. For example, this person moves this amount of crypto to this, from this wallet, crypto wallet, to that crypto wallet. All of which is to say, it's a decentralized form of banking, essentially.
Which is ultra secure, in the ether, in no one particular place.
Yes.
And crucially, is not attached to your name. It exists independent of people, right?
Tron processes around over $20 billion worth of transactions every day. Now, the other significant thing about Justin Sun is he is in business with the Trump family. So he was the initial lead investor in the Trump family's most profitable crypto venture, World Liberty Financial. And that is despite having several very serious controversies. He is someone who was accused of fraud, market manipulation, of running the crypto platform Tron, which sees the highest volume of illicit transactions. This is a platform that was allegedly used by mafia organizations, drug traffickers, by Hamas, by Hezbollah. And the guy who runs that platform is the lead investor in the Trump's main crypto business. Tron denies these allegations and says that it has innovated new technologies to allow law enforcement to crack down on illicit transactions on the blockchain, and has seen a decline in illicit volume. So back in 2020, under President Biden, the U.S. financial regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, began to turn its eye towards crypto. They claimed it was rife with fraud and criminality, and they began investigating people. One of the people they investigated was Justin Sun. The SEC charged him with fraud, claiming he manipulated the price of his tokens and hid payments to celebrities who promoted them to the public. So Sun was being investigated. Then Trump was elected, and shortly afterwards, Sun invested in the Trump family crypto project, World Liberty Financial. Shortly after that, the SEC, which was now staffed by Trump with crypto-friendly appointees, filed a joint motion with Sun's lawyers to pause the investigation into him. And within a year, the case was dismissed, along with a lot of other cases around crypto. Some people have pointed specifically to the timing of the SEC investigation being paused, being around the time that you invested heavily in the Trump family crypto projects.
Yes.
What is your response to those allegations about the kind of coincidence of that timing?
Sorry.
But he can say that, right?
Yeah, no comments. Yeah, no comment on the current case. Yeah.
It's worth saying that Justin Sun denies those allegations, that the Securities and Exchange Commission case against him has been dismissed, and also that he says that Tron is now leading the way in creating new technological innovations to combat illicit crypto transactions, and that they've seen a huge decline. But those controversies are there, and they didn't stop the Trump family from accepting him as the lead investor in their crypto project.
Why would people who are into the blockchain want to hide or obfuscate what they were doing with their money?
That's a really good question. One of the main appeals of cryptocurrency is that no one can see whose money it is, which means it's harder to tax, it's harder to regulate. It's traceable. Your public kind of encrypted key is traceable and visible on the blockchain, but the private key, the U behind that, is invisible. It has been used. Trillions of cryptocurrencies have been used by criminal organizations, by terrorist organizations. But there are other reasons why people want to use crypto. It's quicker than a bank transaction. A lot of people see the banking industry as kind of corrupt or unfair, and they see crypto as a way to liberate us from that. That certainly is something that the Trump family says, and when they advertise their reason for creating World Liberty Financial.
Once we did get political, which we got quite political, we woke up one morning and had 300 bank accounts just eliminated.
Donald Trump Jr., who, you can see a bit of him in my film, he often talks about how his family, the Trump family, were debanked when they became political, which isn't really true. I don't think anyone would believe that the Trumps can't have a bank account, right? But that's one of the reasons they supposedly created World Liberty Financial.
The idea of debanking, Trump's aside, is a phenomenon which exists, and it was very interesting to me to learn that it is linked to the rise of supposed debanking is also linked to the rise of crypto, that it's seen as an alternative, which was not something I was familiar with before. But what does the Trump family want from Justin's son? Why do they have such a close relationship?
What I can say is that Justin Sun was the initial lead investor in World Liberty Financial. Now, what World Liberty Financial does is its main thing is minting a cryptocurrency product called USD1, which is what's known as a stable coin, a cryptocurrency product that is theoretically linked to the US dollar. One USD1 is worth one US dollar. The Trump family has made around $2.3 billion off of their crypto ventures. Billion with a B.
Okay.
This is an unprecedented speed at which one family has gained wealth. The World Liberty Financial is about as direct of a way as you can give money to the Trump family.
Well, the White House has denied that President Donald Trump is profiting from his presidency. But what is Donald Trump's actual relationship with this company, World Liberty Financial, as we can understand it?
It's owned by his family trust, of which he is a beneficiary. So, that is unprecedented for a president. Some presidents would tend to put their money or their assets in a blind trust. But, the reason that this is an issue is because there are decisions that the president could undertake, or that people could undertake around the president, that could financially benefit his family trust. Anna Kelly, a representative for President Donald Trump, said of my film that this is the same tired narrative that Democrats have pushed against President Trump, his family, and his administration for a decade. President Trump only acts in the best interests of the American public. There are no conflicts of interest.
Okay, so there is a huge amount of money, it would appear, to be made right now if you either devise a cryptocurrency of some description, or if, like Justin's son, you are in more of the kind of management, the blockchain side of things. Justin's son has himself acquired a huge amount of wealth. He's invested some of that in this Trump family venture. But he is not just a tech billionaire, he's also a politician. I understand he's prime minister of a small micronation called Liberland.
We've seen how politicians can benefit from crypto, but what do the crypto world want in return? What do these tech billionaires want in return? Well, a lot of them want to rewrite the rules of how we govern society. And Justin Sun believes, and this will get us to the micronation story, Justin Sun believes, like many other tech billionaires believe, that the government, the system of government we now have, i.e. democracy, is outdated and can be replaced with the blockchain, the technology that underwrites cryptocurrency. So laws, voting, governance could all be transactions that are automatically undertaken via the computer code that makes up the blockchain. And that is how Justin Sun was elected the prime minister of a small libertarian micronation called Liberland, which exists on a disputed spit of land between Serbia and Croatia in the middle of the Danube River.
Okay, so how big is Liberland and who lives there?
Liberland is tiny. It has about 200 companies registered there. The president, Vit Jedliča, he essentially founded it because he's a tech libertarian.
We're building the first decentralized autonomous government and also the freest country in the world.
There are no taxes in Liberland. But there are a few permanent settlers on that spit of land, but the main kind of citizens of Liberland, they struggle to visit it because
There's conditions for visiting Liberland from Croatian side because I've got this 5-year ban from Croatia.
in fact the Croatian police have often gone in and kind of destroyed their encampment a few times. This is the problem with starting a tiny new country, is you sometimes have to contend with like proper bigger countries with like police and military and stuff. And that's what's happening to Liberland. But Liberland is really, it exists more in the blockchain than it does in the physical world. That spit of land is what's called a physical node, but it's really a digital country, if you will. And a lot of these tech billionaires think that we will all live in digital countries in the future, and we can get into that in a little bit. But how was Justin Sun elected on the blockchain? He was elected through a crypto token called Liberland Merits.
The elections are every 3 months. They're taking place on blockchain, and the person is elected with merits. So the people that have more merits are able to have more say in who is going to be in the leadership of the country.
And can you purchase Liberland Merit?
Yes.
What that means is the more you buy, the more voting power you have.
Okay, so the wealthier you are, the more influence you have on how your home is governed.
Exactly, which is arguably the case already in Western democracies. It's just that in this case, it's literally written into the constitution and the computer code of this country.
So it's not one person, one vote. It's
One token,
$1 million, 1 million votes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, this sounds like a pretty dystopian view of the future, especially if these are ethereal places, not really real places. If I think of governance, it might be, a health service sort of fixing a ingrowing toenail, or educating my daughter or whatever.
Yes.
How is blockchain going to do those things?
Yeah, so this is a really good question. So in theory, if the government's budget is on the blockchain and we vote on the blockchain with our tokens to allocate $50,000 of government budget to building a bridge, then that money would automatically be allocated to building a bridge. But then you're right. Then the question is, okay, but who builds the bridge? So maybe we could vote on which contractor builds the bridge, right? But then you still need a company and people building that bridge, or implementing this stuff. And this is why this technology, I think, ultimately doesn't work. Is it ultimately relies on human beings and people to implement it. And already you see in Liberland they have politicians with titles like the Minister for the Interior and stuff. So the idea that the technology could basically replace all of government, replace all of laws, replace the banking system is one that everyone seems very excited about in Silicon Valley.
Okay. I mean, what's the ideology that's at the root of all of this? If you're Justin Sun, Prime Minister of Liberland, or whatever title you might happen to have given yourself, what kind of world do you envision? What are you trying to build?
One thing that people should know about the tech billionaires that I've met and the tech millionaires I've interacted with is they, yes, many of them are cozying up to the Trump administration. Yes, some of them are cozying up to Nigel Farage as well. They see Trump and his office and the government as kind of fleeting and ephemeral and not really, they're not going to be there for a long time. They see themselves as the ones with the real power. They see themselves as the ones defining the future, governing the future. And they would like to replace the kind of what they see as inefficient, bureaucratic, human-led systems of government with a technology-based one, and one in which the individual's freedom is paramount, and no institution, bank, or government can kind of take your money from you, your rights from you. But the ideas get weirder and weirder. I mean, we can talk about Curtis Yarvin.
Obviously, it's in these institutional meritocratic structures with these ancient brand names. Right.
Can we save the bulk of the chat for the bench?
Absolutely. So actually, the amount that he has is not actually very high.
Curtis Yarvin is an interesting character, isn't he? He's a name that I've heard floating around.
Curtis Yarvin is a very famous neo-reactionary thinker. He looks a bit like Johnny Ramone. He has like long black hair and like a leather jacket.
The punk singer.
Yeah. He speaks in these sort of circuitous, rambling, like kind of rants about philosophy and history, and it's a little bit like if you've ever been to the Stone Circle at Glastonbury at like 4 a.m. the kind of things that people speak to you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never.
It's essentially, you can imagine it's that kind of rambling, except this is also someone who has garnered the respect of Peter Thiel, one of the richest people in the world. They have praised this guy. What does he think? He thinks that democracy is outdated and that we should replace it with something more akin to a kind of corporate monarchy, where these tech bros that we've been talking about are actually our kings.
I would define it as an accountable monarchy.
It sort of centers around this notion that democracy has failed, that like the will of the people has not been successfully enacted by democracy. It's inefficient. And therefore, what we really need is essentially more like an enlightened monarch, or as he calls it, a kind of CEO king. And that society in the future should be run as a kind of series, as he calls a patchwork of almost city-states, where each one of them is actually more like a corporation than a country. And it has customers rather than citizens. And they compete for citizens like a company would compete for customers. Mm-hmm. And you could switch countries like you might switch gym memberships, for example, if one offers something more than you like than the other one. And instead of, and these companies would be run by hereditary monarchs who are held accountable by a kind of shareholder aristocracy, a board who have shares in this country. And he believes this would be a better way to run society because corporations are more successful than governments.
Okay. So Mr. Yarvin,
yeah,
his name is remarkable. His name makes him sound like a country music singer from the 1970s. Mr. Yarvin is not anti-elitist. He doesn't want to wipe away and get rid of the elites altogether. He just wants to replace them with another group of elites, if I understand correctly, who conveniently enough for tech billionaires are tech billionaires. But what does that mean for, the kind of rank and file, people like me who are not tech billionaires? Where's my say in all of this?
If in Curtis Yarvin's society?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what you want. That's what he would say. So, I mean, like the masses often do not know what they want, or what they want isn't enacted by democracy. Someone who might know what you want better than you is an enlightened CEO monarch, someone who's smarter than you, someone like a tech billionaire.
Mm-hmm. Justin Sun, who is a real life tech billionaire,
yes.
Does he believe in this kind of stuff?
Justin Sun believes that the government should be replaced by technology. And the important thing is, he believes that the Trump administration is helping enact this vision. He believes that the Trump administration is at least helping him enact his vision of replacing money with crypto, replacing the banking system with the blockchain. But what he really wants is to replace every aspect of government with the blockchain. And so I think we need to start thinking about not just how is this wave of money from the world of crypto affecting our politics. And it is a wave of money, by the way, because just in looking at the last election cycle in the US, for example, the crypto industry contributed around $238 million, which surpassed the fossil fuel industry, making the crypto industry now the most powerful lobby in the United States. That wave of money is clearly affecting our politics, but what do those people want in return? And when you dig into it, the ideas that you find often lead to wealth and power flowing directly into the hands of the people who are already the wealthiest and who control the technology.
What's the future that tech billionaires, and you've met a few of them on this journey you've been on, what's the future that they envision for poor saps like you and me, Matt?
Their idea is that money will be replaced by crypto, your job will be replaced by AI, and you'll essentially live on some form of universal basic income, which is doled out by, if there's no taxes, where does that money come from? I mean, yeah, but you'll be given some kind of like just income just to be alive by the blockchain, by whatever,
So the blockchain would be the ultimate provider in a way.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
You spend quite a lot of time in this world, Matt, so maybe you're blasé about it, but some of this does sound somewhat dystopian. What kind of impact does it have on you when you've spent so much time digging into it?
The main sense that I get is like how far removed from reality the wealthiest and in some ways smartest in terms of a technology type of smartness people are. They really do believe that their brains are superior and that they should and could run the world better. They really are onto something that's left the realm of a business or technology advancement and entered the realm of a kind of spiritual, semi-spiritual movement. They believe that they really are accomplishing the most incredible thing in history. And I think it's quite funny seeing it from an outside perspective because you realize that they don't have one foot in reality. They're only surrounded by people who are either trying to get money from them or who work for them or there to support them. So no one's in there being like, what the hell are you talking about? And I think a lot of them saw me, because I'm a journalist, I'm not trying to get money out of them. That was like a really rare moment for them to meet someone who they almost were able to open up to like a friend in a way, because there was someone who's like, isn't sucking up to them,
Tech billionaires get lonely too.
Yeah. Maybe more than us.
Matt, thank you so much. I'm not sure I found that reassuring and comforting as far as the future is concerned, but it was a story I think I probably needed to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
That was Matt Shea, journalist and presenter of the new BBC documentary, The Tech Billionaire Takeover. And that's it for this episode of The Global Story. We're also an audio podcast. You can find us on bbc.com or wherever you listen. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. Cheerio.